on immigration. What do you feel about illegal immigration? Border hopping, border patrol. What do you take on that? Do you believe? I mean, obviously, I know like somewhat what
it shouldn't be a mystery. My beliefs,
obviously.
But yeah.
But I want to like hear from you first.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in this country illegally, you should be deported.
Okay.
And we should also restrict the amount of legal immigrants coming into this country as well.
Okay.
But the illegal problem is a much bigger problem right now. It's a full-out invasion. We have 15,000 people a day marching into our country. We don't know who they are. Terrorist watch lists. They're killing people every day. Laken Riley, another 16-year-old in Texas, was just murdered over the weekend by an illegal.
So you believe that everyone, no matter what you've done, deserves to get deported, even if they're illegal? What if they just do nothing and contribute to society?
Well,
you can contribute to society.
Well, they didn't do. Hold on. They didn't do nothing. They broke into our home.
Okay, but like,
So if you break into somebody's home, you should be able to get kicked out of the home. So they know what they did. They trespassed. They domiciled themselves illegally. If that continues, go back to your country of origin and go be a dreamer in Nicaragua.
But a lot of times it's because of U.S.'s imperialistic past is what caused many of these nations to. Oh, can you hear me?
U.S. imperialism in the past?
Yeah, a lot of these countries have been devastated by.
Okay, so there's over 120 different countries that are coming across the border. Uzbekistan, you know, over 155,000 people from China have come across the border this year.
Okay.
From China. That's not like U.S. imperialism in Honduras. So they should be kicked out and deported. And it doesn't matter. U.S. imperial. I'm going to roll my eyes at the whole thing. You still broke the law. You came into our country illegally. We have laws and customs. You came here. You knew you were breaking the law. And you should be sent back to your country of origin. Any decent country would do that.
So you're taking a subset of Chinese citizens or Chinese people from China and saying, grouping them with everyone else, and because
I think Hondurans, Mexicans, Nicaraguans, El Salvadorians, Panamanians, Venezuelans, Chileans, they should all go home.
Oh, really?
If they're here illegally, yes.
But like I said before, these people have been devastated by in the past. These countries are poor.
I don't care. Like go fix your own country. How did we screw up El Salvador? No, tell me. How did we screw up El Salvador? Can anyone tell me? Or is that just a talking point?
What about for the kids?
Go back to your country of origin.
So you would tell me to go back to my country right now?
Well, are you born here or not?
I'm born here.
Well, I think we should get rid of birthright citizenship, but technically we have it, so you should stay. But yes.
But I'm contributing to society. I'm working.
Okay, good for you. I mean,
So
again,
just leave?
I think we should get rid of birthright citizenship.
Oh,
but,
so I'm done.
But
I'm done
again, I'm not like king, so we don't get rid. But birthright citizenship is a misreading of the birthright clause in the U.S. Constitution. But we have it, so you're going to stay. Don't worry. Okay.
But you want me gone.
But
you want me gone?
Well, no, I don't want you. I want the law to be enforced. Again, I think you're a nice person, but I don't allow my feelings to all of a sudden come in to the administration of justice. I'm sorry, what?
You were literally talking about how, we didn't do anything. Get out of here. It's literally what you just said. I'm dumbing it down, obviously.
Well, okay, but did your parents come here illegally?
Yeah.
Okay, they're criminals, and they should go back to the country of origin.
But they contribute to society.
I don't.
They pick up.
I'm
they
sure
work
a lot
every
of
day.
criminals. Okay, they might rob a store and pay their taxes.
They get your food.
Okay, but
They fast food.
let me ask you a
They
question.
drive your kids to school.
When they came,
Is that not contributing?
What's their country of origin?
My mom's from Mexico. My dad's from Syria.
From Syria.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh,
Got it.
don't talk about that.
Did he come here illegally too?
Not him. Just my mom.
Okay,
But I only live with my mom, so.
So that's fair. So when she came here, did she know she was breaking the law?
She was like, I think, 17. So yeah.
Did she know?
She probably know.
Okay. Therefore, you should go back to your country of origin. If you knew that you were invading somebody's home, I don't have sympathy for you. You're an invader. You broke into our country.
But
I don't care if you're contributing. I don't care if you're this wonderful dreamer in this great story. Either you have the law or you don't. And if your position is to repeal that law, then make that case. If you think it should be illegal to be able to waltz into somebody's country, then fine. There should be no exceptions to the administration of border law. You know who agrees? Mexico. If I go into Mexico without papers, they'll deport me back to America. Try to land in Cabo without your passport.
They'll let you in. I've been
No, they won't.
plenty of times.
No, they won't.
Really? I just walked through.
No, I landed in Cabo 6 months ago with somebody without a passport. They didn't let him into the country. There are stricter borders to go into Mexico.
That is a lie. I don't know what border you've been through, but to go into Mexico is literally you just walk in. You drive in.
You drive to
it's
Cabo.
It's literally fast. You know
where Cabo is on the southern tip of the Yucatan Peninsula? How do you drive?
You're talking about all of Mexico. You can't make the argument and talk about the southern border when you're talking about a part of Mexico. If you say that argument,
if I illegally domiciled myself in Mexico City and I announced I was illegal, what would the Mexican government do?
Who's announcing they're illegal?
You just announced your mom is here illegally.
Yeah, because you asked.
No, you declared yourself. I'm a dreamer. I was born here. So I implied your mom was here illegally, right? Yeah. And you might not like to hear it, but your mom's a criminal. And every day she stayed here is no different than squatting. You're squatting in America. You don't get squatters' rights in this country. Just because you have a nice story and we feel sorry for you. Again, your mom contributes a lot, right? Then she can contribute back in Mexico. She can go build a beautiful business and get a job, or
Why
go
can't
to.
she do it here?
She already is, but the point is that she wasn't welcome here. She wasn't invited. She cut in line. She took the place of other legal immigrants from across the world that have to wait decades to come into here. She wanted it more, so she cut in line under this mass sympathy campaign, and we're supposed to feel sorry for her? Go back to Monterey.
Okay.
So, do you think we should get rid of the law that says you can't come into a country illegally? Should we just get rid of that law?
My honest opinion?
Yeah.
I would say no.
No, we shouldn't get rid of it.
No.
Okay, I agree. So then when should we enforce it?
What?
When should we enforce it?
I don't know.
Okay, and the reason, and I respect the intellectual honesty, because if you said we should enforce it all the time, then it would apply to your mom. But look, you're a winner of all this. You get to be in the greatest country in the history of the world, right?
I respect it. I love being American.
Yes, and so, great, okay? And we have birthright citizenship. You have a U.S. passport, I assume, right? You cannot have a sustainable country if you do not have control of who comes into your country with no sort of standards, no sort of process. It's a big mystery. Secondly, on top of that, we have it on the books. You shall not trespass across the U.S. southern border. It is literally a felony. They want to make it a misdemeanor. So if we repeal that law, that's a position of some people. No border policy whatsoever.
Okay. No, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
For your time.
God bless. Next question. Thank you.
Hi, Charlie. Thank you so much for being here. Good. So I wanted to speak on behalf of young women. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm an entrepreneur, business owner. I've come out of homelessness, overdose, addiction, all those kinds of things. Wow. And now being here and also witnessing what's happening in our communities for people that are going through sexual assault, trafficking, free things are being handed out to people. What are things that we can do as the young generation to be able to promote and help people understand that people that are coming across that are illegal, getting their ability to get free housing and get all this free stuff is not actually beneficial for our generation. It's actually hurting us even more.
Boy, yeah, we're being invaded on a daily basis. It needs to be repeated. It's 15,000 people a day that are coming across the border that we know of. It is worse than anyone can imagine or comprehend. Look, let's just take one element of it. I mean, a fraction of that number are people that are basically in modern day slavery. And we're lectured all the time that slavery was the worst thing in the 1800s, and it was. It's evil. Where's the outrage for modern day slavery happening on the southern border? It is indecipherable when you have an 8-year-old that's coming from Honduras that is purchased by a cartel, and they're trafficked into this country either for sex or labor reasons, and they're legitimately purchased and transacted. I don't see a lot of protests on campus about that. I see a lot of protests against Israel, but I don't see a lot of anger against the modern-day slave trade happening on the southern border. It is one of the great social crimes of our time, and complete silence from the media and from the activist class.
Absolutely. So would you say that based on college being a scam and anybody here that wants to, and I'm a full testament of this, you can and go be anything that you would like to be in this country, like Charlie was talking about, with liberty, because you don't just get to come out of homelessness and getting out of the military and being stuck in a country in the middle of COVID and not knowing what to do with yourself, but then being able to grow your own business and actually being successful. That can only happen here in America. And so for anybody that, for Charlie, for you, what would you say for advice that you would give yourself if you were someone who wanted to start a business but didn't know where to start?
Start a business. It depends on what it is, but look, I think we need more entrepreneurs and more business owners in this country, to be honest. Find a problem that people have. So here's the best way to get rich. It's super simple. Find something that someone's complaining about all the time and then solve their problem. That's how you get rich.
Absolutely.
Because people are willing to pay money to have their problem solved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. To have anywhere between 10 to 15,000 people coming across the border is an invasion. I don't care what your politics are. You could be here, you could be on the super far left. It doesn't matter. It's unsustainable. And this is not a racial thing, but the bad guys actually look at it as a racial thing. Now, in a very perverse way, they might end up being wrong. But it's still wrong what they're doing because they think, and it's not my belief system of this, but just look at what the Castro brothers have said repeatedly. They said that as Texas becomes more Hispanic and less white, they thought that Texas would become more left-wing. Well, it's not that simple, actually, because it turns out the Hispanic community is not a monolith, and that there's a lot of Hispanic conservatives out there that don't believe that men can give birth, and they want a secure border, and they want police, and they want a rule of law. So it's not that simple. But what it does do, outside of the politics, is it does destabilize a country. And that's the bigger point, is that you cannot have an unregulated flow of millions of people. We're not doing background checks. We're not doing DNA testing. We have no idea where they're from. And act or even believe that somehow a stable country can continue. And for those of you that either came to this country legally or your parents did, what is happening on the southern border is an insult to all of you that waited in line. It is an insult for all of you that had to go through the proper protocol and process. That basically what it is why'd you follow the law? And what they're saying basically is you don't have to follow the law anymore. And I've been patient, and I actually have seen more and more fight out of your governor recently. I wish it would have happened earlier. And I want to see that next step taken, and I think his administration is getting closer and closer to that, which is it is now time for Texas to start to deport the foreigners that have come here to this state and return them to their country of origin. It is time to now do that. And largely because the federal government has left us no choice, and it is a very simple moral question. If the federal government is tasked with the safety and the well-being and the administration of the rule of law, and they have year over year told you they are not going to do that, Texas, which was once its own country, which can therefore declare an invasion clause easier than any other state in the nation, does not just have a right, but a duty to take this into its own hands and to fix this problem. And I think Greg Abbott, to his credit, has been feeling the pressure and has been doing some stuff. I mean, you got the barriers, you got the razor wire, you got balloons on the, whatever those big things are in the big objects in the Rio Grande Valley. That's fine. You got the National Guard. It's hard for me to paint this picture. If you haven't seen the video, I encourage you to look at it, where Texas National Guard really steamrolled by hundreds of people last week as if, like, no, this is our country, we're just going to come right in. And, some people say, well, the Texas National Guard should have resisted. But the Texas National Guard, in an ideal, should have resisted. But think about it. They would have gotten probably arrested by the federal government for, violent confrontation of migrants. And that's another important point, which is there are some people that are coming that can fit the quote-unquote migrant mold. But a vast majority of these people are military age, fighting age males that are 20, 21, and 22 years old from 120 different countries. We know that thousands of people have been intercepted on the southern border from the terror watch list, and we have no idea where they're going on the interior of the United States. And I hate to say, but this feels awfully intentional. It feels as if that they want this to happen. Now, why? We can have a robust discussion about it, but I don't get from the current ruling regime that they love the country like you do. That they love the country the way that those of you that serve this nation do. In fact, I feel as if they want to turn it into something different, that they want to try to overwhelm the system. Before some of you yell up and say, you're a conspiracy theorist, well, you guys should study an academic paper that is called the Cloward-Piven Strategy. It was written in the 1970s by two academics, Cloward and Piven. They were communists, self-described Marxists and communists. And they said, hey, the way that we communists are going to take over America is 3 steps, 3 very basic things. We need to try to make sure America borrows so much money that the currency is worthless and the national debt becomes unsustainable. We need to try to build an administrative state or a deep state bureaucracy that swallows the private sector and have DC be the most important part of the country and uncontrolled mass migration into America to destabilize the fabric. Now, we wouldn't know any one of those 3 things, of course. We are borrowing $1 trillion every 100 days in this country. For those of you that want to own a home, for those of you that want to have a future, it is literally getting stolen from you by these unelected bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. Again, this is not a political statement. In 2020, when there was a different president, the average income to be able to afford a home in this country was $59,000 a year, according to Zillow.com. It is now $106,000 a year to be able to comfortably own a home in this country. Now, it might be less here in Lubbock, Texas. I don't know. I mean, but I bet property has gone up everywhere. I bet it's gone up here too. And, but it's probably a little bit easier here. But your incomes are probably not as high as they are in Dallas. So it all kind of evens out. And by the way, that's what they want. They don't want you to own homes. They want you to be permanent renters for the rest of your life because you're easier to control.